Hi, Christine. How are you?
I am fabulous. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for your time, Christine. And my name is Ali, and we will discuss today how to do bundling and everything related to bundling. I know you have been a great experienced seller and mentor to many people. So that was a reason I requested you to join this session. Now, tell me something about how you got started and just a little background about yourself so we know better.
Sure. I got married really young at age 19, and we my husband's in commercial construction, and we had a child right away. And although I was going to college, I had to stay home with my little one, and it seemed like there was really not a lot of careers out there. I needed to make some money, but I didn't know what to do. This was back in 1998, 1999, so a long time ago. After having two children and still wanting to be able to stay home and provide a good, stable environment for them, and also needing to make money, I started looking online to see if there was any opportunities there. And at the time, there was a lot of direct sales businesses, but that wasn't going to be for me. I didn't want to sell things to friends and family and beg people to, buy my goods. That just seemed really awkward and uncomfortable. So I looked to eBay. And so I got my e-commerce started on eBay, and I started by just selling my children's, their clothing and their toys and things like that, because they allowed a used platform. Those dresses or those outfits, you get them for special occasions and they wear it one time and it's so expensive. And then what do you do with it? So that's what I started with, was a very fancy holiday dress that my daughter wore one time for a picture. And so when I was basically able to recover the entire cost of that, just by reselling it, I was kind of addicted. And so I started on eBay. It was 2003, and then eventually moved more into the Amazon space in 2008. I'm still a current eBay seller, but that's just a small portion of that. I just kind of got addicted to the entire process of creating my own income.
2008, you have been selling since, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time.
Well, 2003, so it's almost 18 years now I've been on e-commerce between eBay and Amazon.
You are way senior than me, actually. I started selling on Amazon in 2016, actually, officially 2017, and just, it's like 5 years, 4 or 5 years now. So I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot from you as well. Tell me about the specialized business models you focus on. How do you sell? I mean, what business model you follow to build your business on Amazon, and how you generate sales accordingly?
Sure. So at first, long time ago, I really started selling used books, which is still a great business model to kind of get into to begin and start the process. And over the course of time, as I was trying to grow and scale, I've tried all of the business models available on Amazon, from retail arbitrage, buying things from stores or buying things from places and reselling them, and then wholesale. I've tried many. I still do a lot of wholesale, but in a different way. Private labeling products. I tried to create my own brand and did that sort of thing. And that was a lot of time and a lot of money. And it, this years ago too, it wasn't as advanced technology wise now. But then I finally landed on kind of a hybrid of a private label and a wholesale business model. Most retailers in the entire universe are always buy from wholesale companies. And so I thought that was going to be the ticket to making all the money. Just get to wholesale and, sell volume, and we'll all just get rich. And I was disappointed to realize the margins with fees and everything else were very slim. So I thought private label would be the opportunity. And so I wanted to create a product and a brand, and I dipped my toes into that water and lost some money and realized that was going to be very time consuming. And it was going to be a whole nother business model in itself. And so I kept thinking there's got to be a better way to do this to make good money, but also eliminate some of the competition out there, because competition's rough on Amazon. Everybody wants to be there. So I created what's called wholesale bundles, and bundles were really what I was seeing is you could make a little bit more margin if you put some items together, and not items that you have to create all of it with the private label, but also items that are already made that people buy, genuinely speaking, together as a whole. So a good example of what a wholesale bundle is a highly complementary product that you put together that customers are purchasing anyway. So, think about like shampoo and conditioner. A lot of people buy the same brands, they buy the same products together in one pack anyway. And if they have to add it to the cart twice, then that's not time efficient, right? So creating a wholesale bundle really gives variety and speed and convenience to the buyer. It helps packaging and, better for the environment to not have to have all the constant packaging. So with creating bundles really was able to increase my margins significantly from just a regular single unit wholesale product. But the biggest benefit was eliminating a lot of the competition. When you're creating a bundle, you're creating a brand new listing, you're creating something that no one else really has in that combination, and therefore they can't just jump on your listings and take them over and start lowering all of your prices.
Agree. So I was reading about this foreclosure stuff, home foreclosure stuff in your bio. So tell me a bit about that. What was it? What happened?
Well, so we started our business. I had, we had a family, we bought a home and everything was going well. And, my business was growing little by little because as a mom with 3 children at home, it was hard to balance all the children and trying to make the money and taking care of the house. And my husband was working in construction, and one day he had come home with a major injury to his shoulder and he was unable to work. He needed surgery. He had to go to physical therapy. And all of a sudden our income was all gone, except for this tiny little Amazon business that I had and I was starting to grow. And in the meantime, as we were growing and just trying to, feed our family and keep the lights on, we ended up losing our home to foreclosure. It wasn't enough to save our home. And through all of that hardship, we learned how really important it is to stabilize your own income and not always rely on a job or a salary or something somewhere outside of you. We realized how important that was. And it took us several years to recover and to finally find somewhere else to live. And he had surgery and was healed. In the meantime, we lost everything and we had to start over. And I just like to tell that story because it gives people hope that no matter what situations that you're facing, there's always something that you can do. There's always one more step that you can take to help control your own financial freedom. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy or fast. It just means that it's possible.
Of course. I can feel your pain. I mean, I have gone through similar times, and not once, but twice. So I know this last thing was for me, Amazon reselling business I was already, when I returned from the US, from LA, I was under the debt of more than $35,000 because that's what I had to pay back on my stuff. And it was like a 360 change, the paradigm shift in my overall business because the morale was down. I was like a loser. And it's just when I started looking into this, and even after that, like since 2018 and 19 and 20, I lost like more than $30,000 in the private label business, just private label on Amazon. And I decided that I would never look back to private label. I mean, I'm very happy with this reseller business model. I know that sometimes the margins are thin and slim, but it still does very well, especially from the country where I am. Even $100 convert to 17,000 rupees, the PKR. That is pretty much a good amount for the people. So told me about, for let's say a new seller. A new seller means who has learned the Amazon wholesale or resellership already, the brand reselling thing. Now, if you want to tell them they want to start in bundling, what things or what key factors they have to keep in their mind in order to enter into that business model?
So one of the key things that you have to remember when you're shifting from, say, like a widget seller where you're just looking at data and how many people are selling, how much money you can make, is shifting to the customer and thinking about what bundles need to meet a need or solve a problem. So, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to overthink it. I mean, shampoo and conditioner, just the only problem it solves is to clean your hair, right? So we don't have to overthink beyond that. But thinking about highly complementary items that people do. So another good example would be like a lot of gift kits and gift sets, or people who have specific niches or hobbies or things like that they're focusing on putting products together. So if you're a painter, maybe you're putting together specific styles of paint plus paint brushes plus the cleaning supplies or the palettes that they use to mix their colors. That would be a perfect set to put together, because most people that are painting are using all of those supplies all at once, and it makes it very convenient for the customer to buy everything in once rather than adding tons of things to the cart. So thinking in terms of the customer and what they want and what they need, as opposed to just thinking about the data and the numbers and how many people are selling it and what kind of margin can I make and things like that, really helps to wrap your mind around who's buying your product. And if you understand who's buying your product, you can certainly sell better to them.
Cool, amazing. So yeah, that is very helpful actually in order to get started with it. No, so what key traits do you think entrepreneurs need in order to reach their goals? I mean, I do preach entrepreneurship. I do try, as much as I can from my experience. But of course, your experience is highly vast than me. So tell me about it. What traits do you think?
I think just really believing in your purpose and believing in why you're doing it to begin with. I mean, a lot of people start because they hear it's a lucrative opportunity, they can make a lot of money, and they think that's going to solve all the problems, until when you're dealing with Amazon specifically, there are days where you want to throw your laptop out the window. I mean, it sometimes can be very frustrating to work with Amazon. However, it's still a very lucrative opportunity. So what is driving your reason can't just be about money and profits. It needs to be about a bigger thing. Something like with us, it was after being injured and after all of our income depending on a different company or someone we're working for, there's a false sense of security there. And so what we wanted, our real purpose was, let's build an income stream that's relying on our own efforts and our own determination and our own investments, rather than working for a company that, is paying us a paycheck and could also take that away at any time. And because that was our experience, our goal was really to just try to create at least financial stability that was only relying on ourselves, because we knew that we would do that. Determination and consistency. So a lot of people on Amazon, they'll start for a time, they'll get really excited in the beginning and like, this is going to be great. And then by like month 3 or 4 or 6, they're like, this isn't working, and they give up and they quit when they realize that everything has a learning curve. Every single thing takes time. And so you're only going to get out what you put in. So if you're putting in 3 hours of effort, expect 3 hours of results. But if you're putting in everything that you've got to make this work, and you're determined to never give up, that's when the real results come. Just continually being consistent with all of your actions.
Agree. Do you mind if I go through a few quick semi-technical questions, actually? Not willing to ask for your business confidentials, just a few strategies if that helps people. So how, because I still see when we create a new listing on Amazon for bundling, I still see as a private label. I mean, I believe we have to use our own brand name, even though we use third-party branded products in our bundle. So how are you going to launch it, or rank it in a way so we start getting sales? I believe when there are no reviews on a new listing, customers on Amazon do not really prefer to buy from such listings. I mean, at least I was the one who would never buy from non-reviewed listings. So what do you do in that case?
That's a great question. And what I teach in my program really is the research strategies to help you know what the selling points of are your knowing what your selling points are before you even purchase or before you even launch your bundle. So we don't even get to the point of launching until we know that this is going to generate some sales for us. And a lot of people think that it has to do with brands, when really the majority of products purchased on Amazon are like everyday items, like HDMI cords and socks and grocery items, even regular things that people are consistently buying. And yes, there's lots of big brands and people know brands and like brands, but the reality is millions and millions and billions of products are sold on Amazon every day. And most of the time, we don't even know what the brand really is. And so focusing a little bit less on that and more on the actual research process of how many people are looking for these types of items? What is the supply and demand? What is the, looking at your basic business stuff, like not just supply and demand, but is there too much competition? Is there, if you put in a specific keywords, how many people per month are searching for that? How many products are available? And how are you setting yourself apart from that? That's the beauty of bundles, is that, someone might be selling an individual item, but then when you're bringing speed and convenience and value to the customer by giving them a little bit more, the perceived value goes up. So if you pull up something on Amazon, let's say, we'll go back to the shampoo. So you're typing in your specific shampoo, you put it in Amazon, and here comes a page full of all kinds of shampoo. Maybe you put in a specific brand or a specific scent. We'll just go with like lavender. So lavender shampoo and all these things come up, and you see individual bottles, maybe $10, $8, $15, all kinds of different price range. But then you see this grouping. It's like shampoo, conditioner, lotion, perhaps a loofah, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow. And you see that that's only $29. So you can pay $10 for a bottle of shampoo, or for $29, you get this whole set. And the customer sees that perceived value as more is more. And they look at pricing and they realize, wow, this is just a better deal. This is a better, and they're willing to usually give it a shot because either A, they're already familiar with the scent and the style. So even if it has 0 reviews, what's selling your bundle, what's going to sell your product is the attributes. So people are typing in, lavender scented shampoo. And if you're selling lavender scented shampoo in a gift set or a collective or a bundle, that's going to come up organically in the listing, in the ranking. So whether, even if somebody typed in a specific brand name, your keywords are still going to line up with that. And as the customer is scrolling through and looking through things, they'll say, oh, wow, there's this whole set. Maybe I should try that. So there's a lot of different strategies involved in how you set up your listing and using the keywords. But that perceived value of having more products in one click and usually for a really good price, shows the customer that they feel like they're getting a really good deal.
That makes sense. So you think, let's say I'm creating a new business, I'm starting a new business, and I'm an experienced seller, let's say, and I have the budget, I have no issues with the investment or anything like that. So what do you suggest me? Should I look for like 10 to 20 bundle listings in the beginning, or you suggest to start with 1 or 2 only and just try and wait for it to succeed or start getting sales, or you want to suggest me the other way around?
That's a great question. I think a lot of that is going to have to do with your risk and involvement in it and what your risk tolerance is. I'm kind of one of those that's willing to try everything and see what happens. And I have other clients and people I work with that are only interested in doing one at a time because they want to see the traction. I think there's room for both there. But if you have like plenty of resources and things like that, I still suggest starting with one, because there's so much in the research process of putting a bundle together, and there's so much to curate in the beginning that you want to practice before, you don't sign up to go to like the French Open and play tennis when you've only been playing for a few days. So that's kind of the concept. People want to jump right in and put all of their money in it and think this is the best, when it's best to start small and to start seeing what the different niches. And I always suggest people start with products that interest them. So, not what's popular and what's going to be in the top 1%. I mean, the top 1%, that's already taken by all the big brands. Like, we have to hang out in the smaller, more niche areas where there's not a lot of competition, because the big players, they want to do fast volume. They have millions of dollars of overhead. As to me, I can focus in an area where maybe only has 5,000 searches a month, because our business, Wholesale Bundles, is built more on margin than volume. So an example of our personal store, we have roughly 200 SKUs that we keep. We are 99% wholesale bundles, but we do over like 1.2 million a year in revenue, because we keep our SKUs smaller. We don't want to sell anything and everything. The more that you sell, the more volume that you sell, or the more SKUs you sell, the more that you have to manage. And so that becomes very difficult as you start to scale, as you start to grow and realize that that's going to be a lot to manage. So we focus more on margin, and we focus more on selling smaller amounts of a little bit more SKUs to make maybe say like $1 amount. So instead of trying to sell 5,000 items a month, we sell 30 to 60 of a specific bundle, but we're making $10 to $15 per bundle. And we're also competition free, because there's no hijackers on our listing. We own the buy box of every listing we have, because we're brand registered, as we do bundles with our own brand and things like that. So it really helps eliminate the competition and the problems and headaches that you have with higher volume single unit items, rather than playing the volume. We prefer margin.
I had another question. Actually, I wanted to ask how many you have live SKUs, but you already answered it. So that's perfect. And I wanted to ask, do you only train people, or you also offer services? Like, let's say I have some investments, and I want to hire you or people like you, or services for anybody who is more experienced in launching or creating the bundle listing. So what do you suggest me in such cases?
I'm not sure I understand your question. Are you saying like hiring like a service to kind of come up with the products and things like that? I haven't really done a whole lot of that. I really believe in teaching people, and whether it's yourself or if you're a business owner and you have employees, we have used our wholesale bundle system to train employees of bigger companies that they will be doing the bundle listings and the research in order to discover the bundleability of certain products and using our specific framework and process. So I always suggest something like that. If you're an investor, or you are busy and have all these things, but you want to expand in that business area, hiring someone to do the training and creating those things for you. I do offer listing bundle reviews for those who have put bundles out there, and they say, oh, take a look at my bundle and see, is it good? Does it need some improvement? Things like that. But I'm really an advocate for education and for people to learn these processes themselves, because once you learn these processes and learn how to do proper research, the sky's the limit on what you can create in your own store. And knowing that just like any product that you're going to sell, and they all have a shelf life. So trends come in and they go out, and technologies improve and things like that come on the marketplace. So always remembering that it's going to be a revolving door. And the more you know how to build a strong listing and to choose proper products that are going to meet a need, that training is so important, so that you can continually bring the products to the table that the customers are going to like, and have the confidence to trust in the process and the research data, and continually put products that are selling.
Got it. So, Kristin, may I ask, how big is your team or people work for you?
So my mom and I actually are business partners. We're a women-owned company, and both of us work together. I started my Amazon store a really long time ago, and my mom was working very hard in an industry she had been in for 22 years, and she was at the time I was doing retail arbitrage, so I was shopping from store to store, and she's like, "You're shopping for a living. I wanna help you. I want to do that." And we partnered there, and she was able to quit her long-time career that she was in and join me. So it's my mom and I as business partners, and we have one VA who helps us with a lot of admin tasks. We have another major admin who does all of our ordering and invoices and ordering all the products, doing the counts, the data collection of, what we need to reorder, if there's problems in the account. And then we use a third-party prep facility. So we call them prep centers, and we send all of our inventory to the prep center, and they assemble our kits and our bundles for us and ship them to the Amazon FBA program. So we don't even touch our inventory anymore. It took us many years to get to that point, but the overhead of owning your own warehouse and the employees and all of those things just was very expensive for us to consider that route. And to be honest, I love to be remote. I didn't want to have to go to a warehouse every day and make sure everyone was showing up and doing all that. So we invested into using a prep facility, and now we have location freedom. My mom travels to Florida every year to snowbird is what we call it, because the weather here is so terrible. And I'm here and she's there, and we're still able to work really well together. So I guess with the warehouse and my mom and our two admins, there's just four of us.
Wow. So you are telling me 4 people, and you guys are doing over $100,000 a month in sales.
Yeah.
Claps for you. I can't imagine. So we do have to do a lot of work when it comes to reselling brands on Amazon. And of course, it's like you said, it's the same thing. Trends change. Products don't really last for years and years. It's just a few months. Probably we get sales, maybe maximum a year, I can say. And then we still have to look for new brands or new products or new trends, categories. We always have to shift, find new data, new suppliers and stuff like that. So yeah, this is, I'm sure this is a great opportunity for people to go into bundles. I mean, I have already preached in the past about bundles. We also created some listings, but of course it may not be as good as yours according to your experience. So let me ask you this. Do you only sell in the Amazon US market, or you also suggest or prefer to work in the smaller markets like Canada, UK, or any other European regions? As you can see, Amazon is already in many of the countries. So what do you suggest in such perspective?
I always suggest to grow when you're ready. So when you're ready to grow and expand, because if you don't have a handle on your main platform, everybody wants to be everywhere all the time. And if you're not ready to take on the next step, then stay where you are. But I always suggest you want to be able to uncomfortably grow. So, growing into something that even if you don't know about it, I believe that for our friends in the UK or friends in the European and Middle East, it's really a little bit easier to break into the different marketplaces simply because of location and logistics. For us in the United States to then send products to, say, the UK or the Germany market, or even like Germany, Japan, UK, and US are the top 4. And so if we're sending that overseas, logistically, it's very expensive. And what we've noticed in some of these markets is that in order to make a profit on those things right now, at least logistically, it isn't financially beneficial. But if you're selling an item, items that are maybe very inexpensive, very lightweight, and easy to ship, you say you could send, like, if you're selling a of earrings, for example, that's a very small thing, or jewelry. Jewelry's you can sell a lot of volume in jewelry in a small box, and so shipping is really something that you have to consider. And we've found that some of the products that we have specialized in are too big or heavy or bulky to try to move overseas. So we're working on logistics as far as like if we can order from manufacturers in the Middle East, in China, and then have them shipped to, say, our UK warehouse and things like that. We're working towards that, but so far we're really only on the US platform. But I encourage anyone who's ready and has products that will financially bring them profit, you should absolutely expand.
Of course, of course. Perfect. Kristin, one more thing. When it comes to hiring the virtual assistants, what country? I'm sure the virtual assistant services are going to be super expensive in the US. But if we are talking about the other countries, like I know Philippines and India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, because I belong to Pakistan, so I know what I'm talking about. But I just want your opinion. What do you suggest? From which countries you have hired VAs, and how was your experience?
My experience, well, we have she's from the Philippines, our VA is from the Philippines, and she is fantastic, and she's been with us for a long time in both of my businesses. Actually, she does things both for my mommy income business and for Amazon, and she's really well versed in that. She started out with eBay years ago and had a really good experience, and I prefer that. There's a lot of, it's expensive in the US, but I also like to support people from other countries and other areas where income and jobs and things are very sparse. So I always encourage people to look outside of their own areas. And my experience has really been with the trust factor. When you're hiring someone, a VA, no matter what country or language they speak, it's about competency. Can they complete the tasks, and can they be honest and have integrity? And so that's always what we're looking for. So if anyone's looking to hire a VA, regardless of international status, wherever it is, just be sure to give them a small project first, no matter what their resume says. Everybody says the greatest things about themselves on the resume, right? Like, I'm the greatest in the world, but give them a small task to do, and if they follow directions correctly, and they have, even if they don't have a lot of 5-star reviews, giving them a small project to do that shows their ability to follow directions and to correct mistakes if they're mistakes, and not giving them all access to all of your accounts at first, to make sure that you have someone that has honesty and integrity there. And if they can complete the small projects, then you give them another project and see that. And so vetting someone is very, very important, looking at their skill sets, and then testing them out to make sure that they're doing things the way that you appreciate, and there's really, really good communication. I believe everybody can be trained to do a task, but integrity and honesty and things like that, and quality of work, is really something you cannot train. The other person has that or they don't. So always look for character before skill, because skill can be taught, but character is something that's just a part of someone.
True, I agree. So, Kristin, I guess you, in your training programs, you also help people suggesting or however to create a team or finding VAs. So do you think because from my country, in Pakistan, we have over 60 in our community, we have over 60,000 people who have actually learned Amazon, Etsy, like I said, and eBay, and all 9 other ventures, and a few thousand of them are actively working as providing services as virtual assistants or something. What do you suggest? Because now I'm leading a community and I have a large audience to follow me. What do you suggest me in order to promote their VA services to the outside world, maybe the clients in the US or the European region or UK? What do you suggest me to go through the process? How do we get them online, just get them promoted to this kind of services that they can sell?
I think some of the best ways to do that is going to be word of mouth. So if, say, you have a VA, is very qualified, very competent in their skills, and maybe say they're working for you or working for somebody else, word of mouth is really the best way of suggestion. So because there's a trust factor, especially across language barriers, across different cultures and different communities. Let's be honest, there's just a hesitancy because you don't know what you don't know. And so it's very difficult to trust someone that doesn't speak your language, that you don't know if they're able to do this or not do this. And there's a lot of people that are very like overzealous or like, please let me do work for you, I'll do anything, that sort of thing, to where if you a word of mouth. So for example, if you told me, a really great VA that's in your area, and then I wanted to try that VA, and then between him or her and whoever else is in their team, trust is such a big deal. And so if I can take them on and trust them and then recommend them to my community or the people that they have, whether it's a small agency or just a group of people that really know what they're doing, just doing some work for someone, and then just referral basis, saying please refer me. My particular VA, she doesn't work as much, she's not full-time for us, but because of that, because of how excellent she is, she now works for 5 of my clients. So she's a VA now for 6 different Amazon businesses, simply because she's done things for us. She's very competent, she's very communicative, and she does really good work and on time. And so because of that, we have given her a raise, and we've also said, okay, if you have any more open hours, so-and-so needs a VA as well. So she's doing multiple tasks, very similar tasks for multiple people, and therefore making a very strong living for herself. So I would always suggest that. And I know it's hard it's just like your Amazon reviews, right? Like when you're putting your listing out there and you don't have any reviews, it's hard to get that trust factor, but not giving up and putting out examples of your skill sets and being specific, like if the VAs have strong research skills or strong writing skills or SEO or, taking images and then offering that as like a portfolio, even if you've done no work for anyone, but how, you can have screenshots of, I have the ability to do this, this, and this. And if you're just looking for the needs of the businesses that need your services, looking for those needs, saying, I can help solve these problems. Here's how I do that. And here's an example of my work. That just builds that ethical trust in someone to say, I'm going to take a chance. Because on Amazon, you have to, it's user permissions. Like you have to let somebody into your account in order for them to see that. And I know there's certain things that you can safely protect from that, but a lot of people hold that very close to them because it's their livelihood. So we don't want to risk that. But at the same time, people that are growing their businesses, you need to be able to trust other good people. You cannot build businesses like this by yourself. So you're going to need a VA. So those that are looking to hire, you don't have to control everything in your business. Please hire people because you can grow bigger and stronger with the right team.
Great tips, great tips. So, Kristin, thank you so much. And yes, there are a couple of last questions I have, and hopefully we will wrap it up if you don't have any questions for me. So, you think this time, let's say, of course, it's the last quarter now, and very soon we are all, you guys are going to go on holidays, and then the high sales time will be over. What do you think about the new year in January? How saturated is the current Amazon market, and what niches or categories you suggest, especially for bundling? Consider me as your new student. And if I'm a student to you and ask you what niches I should focus for the early next year, what would you suggest?
I am going to go back and suggest what I've said before, which we kind of touched on it a little bit, but didn't get into it. To really, first of all, there's room at the table for everyone. Amazon is only ever expanding. So if you think it's too saturated, if you think there's too many people selling there, it's just simply not true. For as many people as start Amazon businesses, only 10% of them are still selling after a year. Sometimes people open Amazon accounts and they never sell a single thing. So as far as saturation is concerned, do not worry about the saturation. Of course, if you're going to sell iPhone cases, I'd say no. There's saturation there, right? But there's plenty of niches and products and categories to sell. So as a new student, number one, I would say, don't worry about saturation. Secondly, I would say, start by thinking about problems that you can solve for people, or a niche or a niche that you can get into that you already know about. So if you're into fashion, then maybe you should be looking at things you're into fashion, because if you're passionate about a specific category or a specific sport or a specific something, then you know the problems your customers are going to face with those types of things. And when I say problems, I also mean needs. So if you're in a sport and you're practicing something specific in a sport, and say you deal with calluses or blisters on your hands, well, there's certain tapes or certain things that you can use to prevent that. So if you know more about a specific niche, or if it's a health concern or a diet issue where, there's many people that are on keto or they're vegetarian or whatever that is, then building products around those specific niches, especially if you know about it. Because if you have to research something and then understand the customer, you need to know what their problems and concerns are, so you can bring products to the table that they will say, yes, thank you for solving my problem with this, and they're happy to buy what you've offered. So I would definitely say to start with some things you're familiar with and that you know. But to be honest, there are millions of products to sell that are not even on Amazon at all yet. They're sitting in catalogs somewhere else, and everyone's like, oh, I won't worry about that or bring that. So really just starting with something that you enjoy, that you're into, and then starting to build products from there, I think is really the key to finding successful bundles.
Amazing tip. Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear, something like that. So just last thing from my side, anything that you suggest, consider. We have, like I said, we are working in this community since 2018 mid. So we do have some large sellers on Amazon as well who have learned through the whole process. But consider the majority as new sellers. What message would you like to give them?
My message is to, number one, have realistic expectations. This is not a very fast, get rich quick type of business. It's a business that's slow and steady. Be consistent and don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your desire to make your life better. Do the work. It's not just going to fall into your lap and you press a few buttons. You're going to have to work, but the work is worth it. So your why is worth it. Your purpose is worth it. Your financial freedom is worth it. Do not give up on yourself or your dreams, and be consistent and do the work.
Perfect. Kristin, thank you so much. Do you have any questions for me in case you might want to ask something?
Just wondering how I can support you and your community as much as I can to be able to help others to grow their businesses. That's what I'm here for. So if there's any way I can help or serve you or your community, just let me know.
Yeah, of course. I would be happy if you wanna read your website or how your training program works, in order to allow anyone, in case I guess you also wanted to. I request you, actually, if you have any discount coupon for the community in order to avail on your website.
Sure. Right now we have, first of all, the system is called the Wholesale Bundle System. You can find access to me at mommyincome.com. And I also have a weekly podcast, The Amazon Files. We're on all of the major podcast distributions, the YouTube channel. Everything is Mommy Income. So Instagram, Facebook, the YouTube channel is Mommy Income. So if people want more information, there's lots of free information on YouTube channel, a lot of helpful tips and how people can get started there. And then the coupon code, if you want the Wholesale Bundle System and you're ready to jump into bundles, mommyincome.com/system is the Wholesale Bundle System. And the coupon code to save $100 is HOLIDAY. we will be going on holiday here soon. But in the meantime, we wanted to offer this gift of saving $100 on the system. And that's really it. I really appreciate you taking the time to have these questions for me.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much, Kristin. I will add this information in the video, also in the description. So anyone who wishes to connect with you or access your channels, they will get back to you on that. Thank you so much. Once again, I really appreciate your time taking and discussing all these important information with us. Thank you so much, Kristin.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Have a good one. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.